London taxi cabs are an iconic sight, although I do actually see them all over the UK, so maybe we should change the name. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The London Electric Vehicle Company know that their iconic taxi platform is suited to a commercial vehicle, which is why they have created this, the LEVC VN5 commercial vehicle. Although, for the sake of this review, let's call it a van, because that's what it is. Now, this vehicle has recently been awarded a couple of accolades. It was named EV Van of the Year at the Company Car and Van Awards, and it was picked as What Van's Editor's Choice. So we are clearly dealing with something special. So how best to introduce it? Well, how about come one, come all, come see the LEVC VN5 Vanorama van review. It's a multi-award winning LEVC VN5 eco-friendly green warrior mean machine. So, you know, shall we? Before we get started, I'd just like to say that I sincerely hope you enjoy this review, and if you do, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel and click that bell to get notified whenever we post new content just like this. And if you are in the market for a brand new van, car or pickup truck, don't forget to head to vanorama.com and check out the leasing deals. Now, with all that said and done, let's get cracking. The classy looking VN5 is based on the same proven e-city range extender technology as LEVC's TX electric taxi. That means an EV range of over 60 miles and a total range of over 304 miles. Now, what's that all about? This is all thanks to the VN5's clever plug-in hybrid drivetrain. What you have is a 148 brake horsepower electric motor combined with a 31 kilowatt hour electric battery, and a Volvo-sourced 1.5 litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine which acts as a generator. That's right, a generator. The engine is actually only there to keep the battery charged. It's not even connected to the wheels, so you're never going to be running under the petrol engine's power. That means that LEVC are able to quote incredible CO2 figures of just 21 grams per kilometre. This is significantly lower than the 81 grams per kilometre that's quoted by the Transit Custom PHEV, which basically means that the LEVC VN5 is leaner, greener, meaner, better, lighter maybe than its competition. I mean, this is going to have no trouble getting you in and out of the ULEZ popping up all over the UK. But that's not the only clever thing about this vehicle. It is also equipped with a class-leading turning circle of just 10.1 metres, which is absolutely tiny. I know it's just a figure, but that is absolutely tiny. I mean, seriously, this thing turns on a dime. Okay, so I'm going to need you to do something for me. Picture in your mind what a van's wheels look like when it's turning into a parking space. Okay, you got that all crystallised up there? Okay, now forget it and look at this. The LEVC wheels look like they're turning about 45 degrees away from straight forward. And this is what allows it that tiny, tiny, tiny turning circle of 10.1 metres. I mean, it is unbelievable when you look at it like this. It literally looks like it's falling off. It looks like it's been in an accident. But this is what allows it to turn on a dime. When you turn, the vehicle looks like it's pivoting on its back wheels. Absolutely fantastic. A vehicle of this size is quite literally capable of manoeuvring like a compact car. Mobility is absolutely right up there at the top of this van's USPs, of which there are many. I know the looks of this van are not going to tickle everyone as much as they tickle me, but I'm the kind of person who wakes up every now and then and says, I want to drive something that looks different. Now, we live in a world where the marketplace in the van sector is swamped by platform sharers, so there's a lot of vans that kind of have the same aesthetics. Well, I can be quite honest with you, nothing looks like this. I mean, look at the size of these headlights. They are absolutely enormous, and this iconic grille at the front and that badge. I mean, that is so cool. This is like a little piece of heritage, a little piece of history that you can be driving around with. This is the London taxi cab built for you to drive as a commercial vehicle. It's got a lovely sweeping bonnet, and this enormous high visibility windscreen is really tough and durable. I mean, look, this is the taxi. This is the thing that people have been staring out the front of, driving around packed cities. And the mobility and looks that this vehicle can offer you are just mind-blowing. Take a look down the side, because this is one of those vans that has very few panel split lines. You've got this great big massive side door, and we will be having a look at that area in a little bit more focus a bit later. But what I want to draw your attention to is just how few panel split lines there are. Both sides of the van are exactly like this. They have great big panels that are just begging for a bit of vinyl or something that shows off your business, your phone number, your company name. This is an easel. This is a billboard waiting to be populated with your message. The wheels as well look really nice and tough. And the one thing that's so great about this vehicle is there's only 3 trim levels and 1 size. So basically the trim levels just give you nicer affectations, but even at its base level, this van looks absolutely superb. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of you out there who are saying, a van cannot just trade on its looks. It's a toolbox, so it's got to be able to carry things long distance and keep me comfortable. You know, so there might be some of you who justifiably are sitting there going, do you know what, I don't think this van is practical enough for me. Well, I beg to differ. Now, quite apart from, you know what, actually looking pretty smart from the back, the VN5 has a nice 60/40 door split. Now, I actually find a 60/40 door split to be quite practical. I quite like that the main door is the big one, because it means you don't have to open both of them to get good access into the back end. They open up to their normal 90 degrees. You just pull them forward slightly to open them, and there you go. We'll open that side, that's its full, and this one's full. And there you go, 180 degrees, fully open, allowing you access to this lovely looking load area. Now, it's a pretty good looking interior. It's nice and practical. It's got ties up and down both sides. It's got the nice side sliding door. And in there, no matter which version of this vehicle you choose, no matter which trim level, you're going to have a load volume of 5.5 cubic meters and a payload of up to 830 kilograms. That is excellent. It's just under a ton, but that's pretty good for a van of this size. Now, if you take a look all the way to the end, all of these dimensions are going to be whizzing around me. You're going to see everything from how long it is, how wide it is, how tall it is, and the number of ties, that kind of thing as well. But follow me round to the side where I can show you one of the nicest elements of this van, the side sliding door. Now, the reason I'm calling this out as one of the USPs is quite apart from being a very nice looking side sliding door. You know, it's nice, smooth metal, a little bit reminiscent of the VW Caddy. It also opens incredibly smoothly, locks in place very thoroughly, and this opening is wide enough to fit a Euro pallet in. So not only do you have the ability to put 2 Euro pallets in the back of this van, you can actually slide one of them in from this side and you can slide the other one in from the back. Now that, on a van of this size, is a USP. The final piece of the van puzzle for me is actually the icing on the cake. It's the cabin, the place where you spend most of the time when you're driving the vehicle around. Now, there's a lot of people who said to me, well, isn't this just a taxi conversion? Isn't it just going to feel like you're driving a taxi around? And I said, well, yeah, but what's the problem with that? Taxi drivers have to drive people around a lot, and that means sitting on their bums and driving from place to place, usually over long distances, sometimes over short distances. But doesn't that sound exactly like the behaviour of van drivers? Does this look like the interior of a taxi? Okay, yeah, I mean, it does look a little bit. There's some affectations that will look recognisably taxi-like, but actually, no. This does. I'm going to double down on it. This does. This looks like the interior of a nice, comfortable, hard-working van. I mean, it's got all the nice plastics, the light greys, the dark greys. It's all here. Durability, practicality, and a little bit of comfort. There are 3 trim levels with the VN5, Business, City, and Ultima. This is the top spec, but even at the basic level, you get the 6-way adjustable, fully electrically adjustable driving seat. Even at the basic level, you'll also get the USB sockets, the aux-in socket, the 12-volt socket, Bluetooth connectivity, cruise control, your speed limiter as well. You get a lot at the basic level all the way up. This is one of those vans that isn't just about being premium, it's about being practical. It understands that you need a certain level of comfort and a certain level of connectivity, so why should you have to pay over and above to get to a higher trim level to access that? Quite simply, you don't. Take a look around the inside here. Let's start at the place where you're going to be looking and spending most of that time. Visibility is very good. The driving position is nice and high. You get a really good view to the end of the bonnet, which means you're never going to be wondering if you're going to hit something. Also, at those higher trim levels, you get all of the sensors and all those kind of arrays and camera displays, meaning that you're going to be very aware of your situation no matter what you're doing. The dashboard instrumentation is incredibly clear. Right in the middle is a nice information area where it shows your speed, what gear you are in, although there's only 3, you've got reverse, neutral and drive. But on the left and the right of that, you've also got 2 other dials that, again, for an EV vehicle, or in this case a hybrid vehicle, you get really nice understanding just from those 2 dials. On the left hand side, you've got a very nice clear dial that shows how much charge is in the battery and how much petrol is in the tank. There's no mystery, no nothing. It's very simple, very clear. On the right hand side, you've got an incredibly good dial that shows you whether you are regenerating power, using too much power. It's probably one of the most clear representations of that sort of information that I've seen in a vehicle like this. And that isn't a proud boast. You're going to see it close up in a minute anyway, and to be honest, I defy anyone to tell me that it looks confusing. I defy anyone. The steering wheel is nice, tough and durable, made from the sort of same black plastic you'd expect to find in vans all over the place. It's absolutely covered in controls. On the left hand side, you've got your cruise control and your speed limiter, and on the right hand side, you've got your voice control, because there is voice control, and you've also got your 4-way selector here, which allows you to skip through music, skip through menus. Depending on what you've actually told it to do at that point, that's where you're going to be able to do all the up, down, lefty, righty and enter. It's very nice, very intuitive. The stalks are also quite nice and dinky. They remind me a bit of the sort of things that you're going to find in Nissans. You know, they've got those really short little stubby ones. Renaults tend to have them as well, sometimes really nice, but they never feel like they're out of reach. The steering wheel is set flush back quite far, so it's simply a case of extending your fingers out and those controls are at your fingertips, absolutely easy peasy. The dashboard actually is flanked by 2 vents, which feels like a little bit of a hangover from its time as a taxi, because of course on the left hand side you never had passengers in the taxi, so they've had to do a lot of building out over here to make sure that the passenger as well is going to get some nice vents. If we move along the dashboard, we come over to one of the centerpieces of this vehicle, which is this great big 9.2-inch touchscreen display, and you can control pretty much everything from here. Your sat nav, your calls, even climate control is all embedded in this little screen right here, which, like its engine, has been sourced from Volvo. So it's got some good kudos behind it. So enjoy that. Underneath that, you've got some hard controls, which I do like to see some hard controls for certain things. And in this case, you've got your hazard lights, you've got your demister settings here for the front window, and you've also got some play buttons, your volume control, and your skip back and forward, just in case you're feeling a little bit old school one day and you think, do you know what, I'm going to press some buttons, man. I'm not going to go for the touchscreen. I just, want to touch some buttons. And that's cool, man. You do you. Moving down from the screen, you've got this kind of tray-like area, but this is actually a very important area of the cabin. This is where your drive selector switch and your start-stop button are. On the right-hand side, you've got your drive selector handle, which allows you to pick either reverse, neutral, or drive. And to the left and right of that are varying levels of battery regeneration, which is one of the very cool quirks of this petrol hybrid engine. Over on the left hand side you have the start stop button, which actually uses this kind of twist function where you put your foot on the brake and you twist it to turn the vehicle on, and then everything springs to life. You twist it again to turn it off. Very nice, very simple. And just behind that you've got your parking brake. For a vehicle that's taxi incarnation was just all about the driver on this side of the vehicle, they've opened up this side really, really well. There's a massive, great big glove box right in front of your passenger there, which feels really deep. It's got a nice big opening and it goes quite a way down. But take a look at all the other storage. Underneath this tray area here on the left, right in the center, you've got this great big tray area underneath it, which has a rubberized bottom. You know how much I love a rubberized bottom. You've got 2 cup holders just behind that, and behind that you've got another storage area which looks absolutely perfect for sandwiches, a lunchbox or something similar, flanked on its right hand side by your 12-volt socket and 2 USB sockets and an aux-in socket as well. And I love a cargo net, so it's a good thing that the LEVC has a nice area of cargo netting right here. So there you go, a fantastic looking cabin filled with all the types of durable plastics and durable comfort that you'd expect from a commercial vehicle. This is the icing on a cake, and actually, if you ask me, it's the best blend between 2 worlds: taxi driver comfort and van driver comfort. Good times, eh? So, how do we finish this one? Well, in my mind, the LEVC VN5 is probably one of the most interesting and compelling van propositions in the marketplace right now. And believe me, I do not underestimate the gravity of those words. I know that people are going to be absolutely hanging on to them. But this is truly the best of both worlds. Taxi driver comfort and van driver durability and practicality, meshing together perfectly, just like the petrol engine and the electric motor do underneath the bonnet. So, what do we do next? Well, we've got to remember that 2030 feels very, very close. But a vehicle like this is going to be the perfect way on a 3-year lease for you to ease in to full electric vehicles. This is bridging technology. So, if you're looking for your next commercial vehicle and you're looking for something a little bit different, something that helps you make those steps towards our EV future, then the LEVC VN5 might be just the van you're looking for.